What's up, YouTube? So before we start with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about some comments Tom Brady made. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Yesterday, Stephen A., you said you didn't have a problem with Tom Brady holding these workouts, but what is your reaction to this post using the FDR quote?
Well, I don't have a problem with him holding a workout because, as I've said before, I believe you can engage in social distancing while practicing throwing to a few wide receivers who are in attendance with you. I do have
Yeah, I agree with that.
a problem with the rhetoric he spewed. What do you mean there's nothing to fear but fear itself? Let me tell Tom Brady, give him an idea, and Max Kellerman would definitely appreciate this considering his consistent position on this
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Tom Brady just meant it as a figure of speech.
matter. Let me tell Tom Brady what he has to fear more than fear itself. How about as recently as 8 to 10 days ago, 3,822 new COVID-19 cases in the state of Florida alone? How about 43 additional deaths because of the coronavirus? How about the fact that over 3,100 people have died from it, all right? And in the state, over 89,748 cases as of 10 days ago. I ain't even talking about over the last 10 days. We've got a governor in Florida that engaged in phase 1 of reopening the state in May 18th, more than a month ago. Phase 2 has already taken place. It continues to spike. He continues to ignore that as far as I'm concerned. I think he's been incredibly irresponsible, especially in comparison to the fantastic job that Andrew Cuomo has done in New York City. I'm telling you, the governor of New York, in this particular matter, has done an outstanding job. And it's just, New York went from the epicenter to what it is now, all right, in terms of flattening the curve. And in the case of Florida, they are on the verge of becoming the epicenter because this man obviously wants to focus more on the economy and less on the pandemic. I can appreciate his position to some degree, but there are adroit and more stringent ways to handle what he's handling. He is not doing so. Tom Brady is there. He is a highly intelligent man. He knows what's going on. I assume he reads. He educates himself. TB12, last time I checked, is about improving one's health, Max. Is it not? So therefore, if you're Tom Brady, to be sitting there and saying there's nothing to fear but fear itself is a very irresponsible statement on his part. Again, you can work out and engage in social distancing at the same time. I believe you can do that on a football field with not an inordinate amount of bodies around you. I believe that can happen. But to make a quote like that comes across as just very nonchalant and just shoving aside what medical experts have told you and what the facts are showing you about how serious this matter is. I don't like the fact that Tom Brady said that.
Yeah, so I don't know about that either. I think Tom Brady just meant it as like a figure of speech. It's not like he's going out there and telling everybody, oh, the coronavirus isn't real. It's not real. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to practice. I'm going to walk around with no mask. I'm going to do whatever I want to do because I don't believe in the coronavirus. That's not what he's saying. He's talking, I think he was using that as a figure of speech. I mean, you know, Tom Brady is one of the most competitive people in the world. So he's going to say something like that. You know, as far as the whole, you know, there's 3,000 people died today and 10,000 people died the day before and all that. Well, you can say the same thing about, you know, the top things that kill people in the world. So what is it? Heart disease, like number one, I think. Don't quote me on it. Then cancer. Don't quote me on that. And then like just normal accidents, I think. Don't quote me on that. Kill more people every day than people are dying before the coronavirus. So that's just a little defense for Tom Brady. And as far as, you know, Stephen A. Smith trying to get this whole speech about, the whole rant about, you know, how many people were sick and how many people died. Well, you're one of the main guys making a push for the NBA. So if it's that bad, then why are you supporting the NBA starting up to play again? It just doesn't make any type of sense. That's a strong contradiction. So I don't know. Let's continue.
At all. Stephen A., today, just since we started this show, Florida has reported, and there are those who believe they cooked the books to make the numbers look lower. Florida has reported 9,000 new COVID cases. Today that was reported. So, look, and that's where Tom Brady's playing football. When Tom Brady says there's nothing to fear but fear itself, that's an example of a little knowledge being dangerous. You ever argue something with a freshman in college? They've read one book on a subject, and now that represents everything they know about it, but they feel like they know something? Tom Brady quoting that completely out of context is a problem. So if Tom Brady's watching, and I think he does because he trolls me with Cliff tweets, I'm very flattered. Tom, what FD, a little history lesson, as old as you are, I'm a little bit older, and apparently better educated, a little history lesson.
Ouch.
When FDR made that statement during his first inaugural address, he was talking about the Great Depression. It was an economic catastrophe. And he was saying, really, that when there's nothing to fear but fear itself, is that's how you can make the economy better. We can stimulate things. And he was asking for broad powers, executive powers, to get great works done and put people back to work. Nothing to fear but fear itself doesn't mean in the presence of a pandemic, you should fear a pandemic. He meant that there was no pandemic to point to. There's no pandemic here to fear. It's simply our own fear. But here there is, and Tom Brady, because of...
Yeah, so like I said before, I think Tom Brady was using it more as a figure of speech instead of literal.
Irresponsible leaders like DeSantis in Florida and many others, where you see a tremendous spike in COVID cases because they've ignored the advice of health experts. There's a second wave already before we even got to what we thought would be the second wave, which would be dangerous in the cold weather months. I have parents who are over 80 years old. Stephen A., Tom Brady is likely not going to die of COVID, even if he contracts it. But elderly people might. I have people in my family, as most Americans do, who are in real danger from this. And when Tom Brady sets that kind of example, it makes things worse.
Now, hold on. So are you saying people that are 80 years old and elderly people are sitting there listening to what Tom Brady's doing or what Tom Brady said about there's nothing to fear but fear themselves? So now they're just going to forget about the coronavirus and go out and do whatever they want to do. They're not going to wear any mask. They're not going to do anything. So all the kids that want to be like Tom Brady, all the fans that are watching Tom Brady are going to listen to what he said and say, you know what, I'm not going to wear my mask anymore. I'm just going to go out there and do whatever I want to do. I don't believe in the coronavirus anymore. Is that what you're trying to say, Max? Because I'm pretty sure people aren't stupid enough to really, you know what, there might be some people out there that are like that. But for the most part, I don't think people are like that. Like I said, I think Tom Brady was using it more as a figure of speech. So let's continue.
And I believe Tom Brady's a good man. I admire a lot about him. I hope he would reconsider posting stupid things like